If you plan on marketing digitally, it's a must that you have an Instagram presence. Creating a legitimate following to convert or retain customers takes commitment, creativity, and understanding of the Instagram community and knowledge of how to leverage Instagram tools. Using a photography studio as an example, in this course, we'll discuss Instagram best practices, proven strategies, and tips to help you build and retain a following that can be converted into customers. We'll look at and interpret statistics from a live Instagram account to help determine where future efforts on Instagram should be focused. My name is Anson Alexander, and I've been marketing digitally since 2011. I've built a formidable web presence that includes a YouTube following of over 130,000 subscribers. Social media has played a large role in building that following, and I'm excited to share the knowledge that I've learned with you. Instagram has a ton of potential when it comes to digital marketing. To get started, let's take a look at some of the marketing opportunities available within Instagram and ways that we can leverage those opportunities. First of all, you can increase the awareness of your products and services simply by posting photos and videos of them. Show users how your products and services are beneficial and how they can be used. You can also use Instagram to help improve your brand recognition. If your organization does some volunteer work for a local charity, post photos and videos of that so users can see what your organization does outside of simply selling products and services and how you give back to the community. Just like on all the other social networks, there are viral marketing opportunities on Instagram. They may not be easy to come across at first, but once you find that sweet spot, that piece of content that really resonates with your users, maybe it makes them laugh or surprises them, they're going to be more likely to reshare that content and to like it on Instagram, to tell their friends to go and check it out as well. Additionally, if you have a tangible product like clothing, for example, you can sell your products directly from within the Instagram app. So now that we've talked about some of the marketing opportunities on Instagram, let's talk about how we can leverage those opportunities. This may go without saying, but it's super important to make sure that you're featuring photos of your products and services. Instagram is a place to show users what your business does best. When you're posting photos, remember to add a description explaining how users can get the most out of the products and services that you have to offer. Instagram is also a great place to host contests and giveaways. My favorite way to do this is to pick a product or service, reach out to your users on all your social accounts, and tell them to post Instagram pictures of the most creative way that they can think of using your product, and tell them to do it using a particular hashtag. Maybe you can give the winner a gift card to buy more of your products and services, but what this does is it allows your customers to do marketing for you. They're going to post photos and videos of your products, your services, how they're using them, and then all of their friends are going to see those photos. So now you're reaching an audience that's bigger than just the people that follow you on Instagram. You're basically getting free marketing, and your customers are happy to do it because they have an opportunity to win a gift card or maybe a free product. Instagram is a great place to host contests and giveaways, so don't forget about that. You can also find users that are already customers on Instagram. You can search within the Instagram app, so you can search for keywords related to your industry, or you could search for specific products that your organization sells. And then you can see what people are posting about your products, what they like about them, what they don't like, and it creates opportunities for remarketing. You can also directly communicate with customers and potential customers on Instagram, just like you can on Facebook or Twitter. Remember, social media is your chance to give your organization a personality and let people know that it's made up of real people who really care about their customers. These are just some ideas on how you can leverage opportunities on Instagram, but I encourage you to think outside of the box and be creative as well. When you do something different, people notice, and they're going to be more likely to remember it. So you can use all of this information as a baseline, but don't forget to practice your creative freedom as well when you use Instagram. It will really differentiate you from your competition. Instagram features a number of built in tools for businesses that are available exclusively for Instagram business profiles. Let's take a look at some of these tools and discuss how they can help your organization. Later on in the course, we'll look at how we can actually implement these tools, but I think it's important for you to first have an idea of what's possible. The first tool that I'd like to talk to you about is the sticker poll tool. This allows you to ask questions to your users in the Instagram story mode and then get an answer from them so you can get some feedback. So you can see from this example, we have an image of a woman wearing a hat and a blouse. And towards the bottom, we're asking the question, which do you prefer, the hat or the blouse? As you can see, by using sticker polls, we can gain insight into our followers' preferences. You can ask any question that you'd like, they're open ended. And then using sticker polls, you can provide as many answers as you'd like as well. So you can completely customize this, and it's a great way to use Instagram for customer feedback. The next tool that I'd like to talk about is the sponsored posts tool. This is basically advertising on Instagram. Whenever we post a photo to our account, we have the option to promote that photo. So as you can see, here's an example of what a promoted post would look like. You can promote any post that you've uploaded to Instagram. When promoting a post, you can choose who you'd like to target, how long you'd like your promotion to last, and what the budget will be for the promoted post. As you can see, they look very similar to regular Instagram posts. The only difference is the subtle text at the top left underneath our profile name that says sponsored. So using sponsored posts is a great way to reach a wider audience by spending a little bit of money than you would if you just posted regularly. The next tool that I want to talk about is the contact buttons tool. It's actually more of a feature, but it's only available for business profiles. So let's take a look. Notice that on this example, towards the middle of the screen here on our profile, we have a button that says email. And the users, when they're viewing our profile, can tap on this button and they can send us a direct email. When you set up a business profile, you have the option of determining which type of contact options you'd like to display. You can add a button like this one for users to email you. You could add a button for users to contact you via phone, or you could add a button for users to see your physical location in a Maps app. And you can add all three if you'd like as well. Again, this is only available for Instagram business profiles, and I recommend that every business have at least one of these options available to give users an easy way to contact you to find out more information or to complete a purchase. The last tool that I'd like to talk about is the storefront tool. Now, this tool is a little bit more difficult to use. You actually have to use Facebook Ads Manager, and you have to have your Facebook business profile set up with a Facebook catalog, which is where you can list your products for sale on Facebook, because Facebook owns Instagram, and they're kind of interconnected, especially when we get into the business tools of Instagram. Now, once you've done that, you can apply to be approved for a storefront on Instagram. So it's a bit exclusive. It's saved more for big retailers. But, if you're doing really well on Instagram and you're selling products directly, it's definitely something that you can look into more. So let's take a look at what it looks like. So this is a storefront post from IKEA, and we can tell it's a storefront post because in the bottom left corner of the image, we have a little shopping bag symbol. And if we actually tap right on the image, a whole bunch of labels will appear related to the products in the image, telling us the name of the product and the price. We could actually tap on any of these products, and we'd be brought to a page where we can find out more information about the particular product, and we could tap to go to the website to purchase it. You can find a lot of information in the business section of Instagram.com about how you can apply and be approved for having a storefront on Instagram. These are just 4 very specific tools that are provided only for business profiles on Instagram. So you definitely want to make sure that you're taking advantage of these tools as you use Instagram for marketing purposes. In order to get the most out of using Instagram as a business, it's a good idea to switch your Instagram profile to a professional profile. Switching to a professional profile will allow you to access Instagram insights as well as other business related features. Before we jump in and do that, I'd like to mention that you must have a Facebook page created for your business in order to create an Instagram professional profile. So if you don't already have one, head on over to facebook.com/business and create a basic business page before moving forward. Okay, once you've created a Facebook business page and you have the Instagram app downloaded on your device, go ahead and tap to open it up. If you already have a basic Instagram profile that you'd like to use for your business, go ahead and log in. If you don't, you can create one now from this screen. I already have one though, so I'm just going to tap on Log In. And now I'm just going to tap on the bottom right silhouette icon to access our profile here on Instagram. So now that we're logged in, this right now is just a basic Instagram account, and we want to convert it to a professional account. So from our profile screen, we're going to tap on the three lines at the top right, and then we're going to tap on Settings to access our Instagram settings. From within our settings, we're going to tap on Account. Notice that at the bottom of this section, we have the option to switch to a professional account. So we'll go ahead and tap to continue. Now, during this setup process, we need to answer a few questions about our business, so go ahead and do that as best you can. So we're going to set this up as a business. We're using a photography studio as an example for this course. It's called Pixelford Photography. So we can get some information from Instagram about what this is going to allow us to do. We can learn about our followers, we can reach our customers, and we can get new contact options, which I mentioned earlier in the course. So we'll tap to continue. Now we need to select a category for what type of organization we are. Let's go ahead and search for photography. There we go. We'll go ahead and choose photographer and tap next. Now it wants us to review some contact information. So if you wanted to add a phone number or an address, you could do so here, but I'm happy with just having our email address up there. So I'll go ahead and tap on next. Now is where we have to connect to Facebook, which is why I mentioned earlier on that you need to create a Facebook business page first. So we'll just go ahead and tap to log into Facebook and continue. Tap on continue. And we've now connected our Facebook page. So we have it selected and we'll just tap next. All right, there you have it. So it lets us know that we now have access to more tools to connect with our audience on Instagram. Now, when we take a look at our profile, you might not notice all of the changes, but there is one specific change. It now says photographer underneath our profile name. And then at the top, it says that we've had 8 profile visits in the last 7 days because we now have access to Instagram Insights and all of the other great business tools that come along with having a professional Instagram account. Let's take a look at the Instagram user interface so that as we move through the course, you're comfortable with where all of the primary features of Instagram are located. When we first log into the app, we're on the home page of Instagram, and this is where we see any photos and videos posted by users that we follow on Instagram. We can tell we're on the home page because at the bottom of the screen, the house icon is shaded in a darker color. The next icon on our screen is the magnifying glass, and this is the search page. So if we tap on that button, we can now search on Instagram. So you could tap at the top and you could search for a topic related to your industry. You could search for some of the products and services that your business already offers, or you could even search for some competitors to do some competitive research. And as you'll see later on in the course, we could also search for hashtags related to our business. Now, the next button down in the navigation section is the upload button. It looks like a plus icon, and this is where you can upload photos and videos. So if you tap on that, you can select photos and videos that are already in your photo library, or you'll notice down at the bottom we could tap on photo to take a new photo, or we could tap on video to take a new video. But we're just going to cancel that for now and go back to the next icon. So that's the heart icon. So the heart icon brings us to the activity section. This is where we can see all of the activity that's related to our account. So we can see when people follow us, when they comment on our photos or videos, all sorts of things like that, when they message us, anything that's happening related to us and our business on Instagram. Now, the next link on the bottom of the screen is the profile link. And if we tap on this section, we'll be brought to our own Instagram profile where we can see all of the photos and videos that we've uploaded to Instagram. Now from here, we could tap on the Edit Profile button and we could change the description of our profile here on Instagram. And we're going to take a look at that more in depth later on how to actually build an Instagram profile. However, I'd like to also mention that if at any time you need to access the Instagram settings, you can tap on the 3 lines at the top right. and then you can tap on the settings button at the top of this page. And you'll be brought into your Instagram settings. And we'll look at a couple of the important areas within the settings later on in the course, but I did want to bring you here so that you know how to access it if you need to find something. So hopefully now you have an idea of where all of the primary sections of Instagram are located so that you know where to go when I'm speaking about one of these sections later on in the course. One of the best ways to be successful at something new is to look at others that have already had success at whatever it is you're trying to do and see what you can learn from them. So let's take a look at a couple businesses that have been successful on Instagram and try and see what type of content they're posting and why they've been so successful. So I'm here in the Instagram app and I'm on the search screen. So I'm just going to tap in the search bar at the top of the screen and then I can start typing to search for a brand. Now, the first brand that I want to take a look at is IKEA. And I want to mention real quick, notice that in the search results here, in my recent search results, some of the brands have a blue check mark next to them. That means that that is a verified account. So when you're looking for a big brand name company, you can probably assume that it's going to have that little check mark to the right of the name. So we're looking for the main IKEA account, and we can see that it's already here. If it wasn't, I could search for it at the top, but I have the IKEA USA account, so I'm just going to tap to access that account. IKEA has had a lot of success here on Instagram. We can see that they have over 2 million followers, and if we scroll down a little bit, we can see what type of photos they're posting. So obviously they're a furniture company, and that lends pretty well to Instagram because they can show photos of all of their products. They can create rooms that look furnished and lived in, and then they can use the shopping posts feature here on Instagram to sell some of their products. So if we scroll down here, you'll notice that we have one post down here at the bottom with the green bed, and it has a little shopping bag symbol, and that means it's a shopping post. So if we tap on that, we can tap on the actual image, and you can see all of the items for sale. Now, one thing that IKEA does pretty well is they do a pretty good job of putting some descriptions about their photos and giving people ideas on how to improve their living spaces. So you can see this one is saying, you can make your bedroom more inspirational with natural textiles and warm lighting. And now if we go back to the IKEA Instagram page and we scroll to the top, I also want to mention that they have a description here. They have a link to their storefront here on Instagram. You can see that's the bit.ly link at the top. And then they also have a custom hashtag, and that's My IKEA USA. You can see it in the description. So they are encouraging their users to post photos and videos of people using their products with the My IKEA USA hashtag. That helps them get some feedback from their customers, and it might allow some of their users to do marketing for them. Notice that you can also message or call IKEA directly from their Instagram page with the buttons next to the follow button. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at another company. So I'm just going to tap back on the search page here. And the next company that I'd like to take a look at is Chobani, the yogurt company. So you'll notice it's already in my recent searches, so I don't need to actually type in the name Chobani. So I'm just going to tap on Chobani to access their Instagram profile. Chobani is a yogurt company. I really love the Chobani Instagram page. I have for years. If we scroll down the page a little bit, you'll notice that they don't just have pictures of yogurt because I guess that could get kind of boring, right? Yogurt's yogurt. Notice they're showing you how to use their products. So we have different meals that people have made with yogurt here. It features salads, desserts, and a number of different meals that you can make with Chobani yogurt. They also have a very colorful profile. It's one of the aspects I like most about the Chobani brand. It just gives off this very happy-go-lucky vibe. Chobani has done really, really well here on Instagram, and it's a great example to follow. Notice that when we scroll back up to the top here, that they also have a link at the top that takes you to their Instagram storefront where you can purchase their products. It used to take you to a website that contained a number of different recipes that include Chobani yogurt, and I thought that was pretty useful and creative. Chobani does a great job of showing users creative ways to use their product. When I think of Chobani or yogurt in general, I think about kind of just eating yogurt and less about cooking with it. But by following the Chobani brand on Instagram, I'm presented with a number of different ways to use the product aside from just eating it plain. So if I were to go to the grocery store to actually make one of the recipes that I found on the Chobani Instagram page, I'm probably going to be more likely to buy Chobani for the recipe than another brand of yogurt. Chobani's had a lot of success It's a yogurt company, but you can get some great ideas here. So the Chobani photos look absolutely amazing. I love the colors. Food is really big on Instagram. So if you're a food company or have anything related to food, you've got a great opportunity on Instagram because foodies love their food photos. And remember, you don't need to be a professional photographer to post amazing looking photos to Instagram. You can take a good photo, obviously one that's in focus, but then you can use the Instagram filters and editing options, and it really allows you to give your photos a nice professional feel. So these two companies are just a couple of examples of different companies that have had success here on Instagram. Hopefully, it gives you some ideas for your own brand as we move forward in the course. You definitely want to be original and unique, but taking a look at what other companies have done and how they've been successful will hopefully help you in being successful on Instagram as well. Let's talk about some different strategies that you can use to brainstorm content ideas for your Instagram account. First, we'll briefly talk specifically about promoting products on Instagram, and then we'll talk more generally on how to find inspiration for promoting both products and services. When marketing a product on Instagram, this should go without saying, but post photos of your product. Secondly, explain how your product is different from other products on the market. Finally, show creative ways in which your product can be used. Promoting services can be more difficult, so let's talk about ways to find inspiration for our Instagram posts. First of all, list all of the products and services that your organization has to offer. And then create a second list of all the benefits that your products and services provide. Remember to think of the different ways that your products are used and try to be as creative as possible here. Think of the ways that your products are used that not everybody's going to think of. For example, I mentioned the company Chobani earlier in the course, the yogurt company. And when I think of yogurt, I kind of just think about eating it. But on the Chobani Instagram page, they have photos of different ways that you can cook with the yogurt, and that leads to almost endless possibilities. It's also important to think about when people are most happy using your product. One example that I can think about for this particular aspect of using Instagram is if you have a plumbing service. Now, if you just think about taking photos of you doing plumbing work, they may not be the most glamorous photos to post on Instagram. But what is the end goal of hiring a plumber? Well, it's probably to have running water. Water is one of the most vital resources on the planet. People really like water, they need water. So we open ourselves up to all of these different ideas on ways that people use water. So if I'm a plumber, maybe I could post photos of somebody drinking a nice, pristine, cold glass of water, or the family running through the sprinkler in the yard on a hot summer day. So we're not just talking about the actual work that you do, but the end result of that work. And even more importantly, when are those really special moments when somebody's benefiting from the product that they've purchased or the service that you've provided? Try and capture those moments. I have a personal friend that I went to high school with, and a couple of years ago, I stumbled upon his Instagram account. He inherited a landscaping service that his father owned and I think his grandfather owned before him. And he was the first one that really took to this digital marketing aspect of the business. He created an Instagram account, and he has one of the most beautiful Instagram accounts I've seen. He posts photos of every job that he does: waterfalls, walkways, gardens, flower beds, all of these beautiful, beautiful landscaping designs and projects. And he puts them on Instagram and they look absolutely stunning. This is the type of account that you'd follow even if you're not going to get a landscaping job, just because the photos are so gorgeous. But guess what? Now I need a landscaper. Who am I going to call? Well, I have this guy on Instagram that I follow. His work is great. I see it every day, so maybe I'll call him first. Another type of service that I'd like to mention, because I was trying to think of the most difficult services to really put on Instagram, and I thought about waste removal. So maybe you're a waste removal company. How can you capture those special moments? Well, taking out somebody's garbage isn't going to be the best picture. Now, maybe if you have a man or a woman smiling taking out the garbage, maybe it could work. But what happens with that waste afterwards? Maybe there's some recycling that's being done, so you can post photos of artwork that people have made with reclaimed metal, wood, or refinished wood. Maybe you could provide some ideas on how people could use their household waste and reuse it to be more efficient and more environmentally friendly. And that opens you up to the whole environmental aspect of things. So you could even just be posting pictures of a nice national park that's nice and clean and there's no waste in it. What I'm getting at is that just because you have a service that you might not be able to capture digitally right off the bat, remember to be unique, creative, and personal. Capture those special moments when people are most happy using your product or service. Think about the creative ways that your product or services can be used. And then finally, what is the main benefit that it provides to the customers? It's those special moments in those situations that are perfect for Instagram. So, hopefully, this will give you some ideas of ways that you can list the products and services that your company provides and then get the benefits of those services in the special moments that they create uploaded to Instagram. It's always important to keep tabs on other businesses in your industry and stay up to date on what they're doing in regards to marketing. Using Instagram is a great way to see what your competitors are up to. You can take a look at your competitors' Instagram profiles, see what type of content they're posting, and maybe even get some ideas for content that you can post to your own Instagram profile. For this course, I'm using an organization called Pixelford Photography. And right now we're on the profile page of Pixelford, but I have a competitor that I'd like to search. So Pixelford is a photography company, so I have another photography company that we're going to take a look at. So to find them, I'm just going to tap on the search icon at the bottom of the screen, and then from here, I can search for the company that I'm looking for. So I'm just going to tap in the search bar, and the company that I'm looking for, I've already searched for it. It's in my recent. You can see it's Blue 30 Photography, so it's another photography brand. So let's tap to access their Instagram profile. Notice that when we access their profile that they have their website address listed towards the top. This is really important, and I'm going to talk about how we can manage the links on our own Instagram profile later on in the course. And if we scroll down a little bit, we can see the types of photos that they're posting. So I really love these photos. They're really colorful, they're bright, they stand out, and they really capture your attention. So looking at their profile, we might begin to think, maybe we should think about a similar style, or maybe we have our own style that we can kind of make a unified style on our own Instagram profile. But that definitely stands out to me on this profile. So it's something to keep in the back of our mind when we think about what we're going to post to our Instagram profile. And now if we tap on one of their photos, you'll notice that they have some descriptions in there. And if we tap the more link, they're also putting a few hashtags. So this is a great opportunity for us to go through their different photos and take a look at the hashtags they're using, because there may be some good opportunities for us to use those same hashtags since we're in the same industry. So you can see we could tap on another photo here, and we've got some more hashtags down there at the bottom. I think it's really important for you to do this sort of research for all of the competitors that you have that have an Instagram account. It can really give you some great ideas for your own content. Remember to put yourself in the shoes of a customer as well, so that you can decipher ways that they may be able to improve their posts, and then you can make use of your own findings on your own Instagram profile. So for example, we could tap on one of these photos, and then we could take a look at some of the hashtags in the photo, and we could tap on a particular hashtag. So for example, the nature hashtag, and it will take us to a whole bunch of posts that have the hashtag nature. So now we could start looking at some of these photos, and we could look at the other hashtags that are on these photos to get even more ideas. We could start tapping on the photos, looking at the users that are posting the photos. Maybe there's some more photography studios, so we could look at their profiles and get an idea of what they're doing here on Instagram. So you can really do a lot of competitive research on Instagram. You can find out what your competitors are doing, the type of content they're posting, and that will definitely help you tailor your content for your Instagram profile. In this video, I'm going to talk about developing a regular posting schedule for Instagram. What this means is posting content on a regular basis. Maybe you post content every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe you post it every Tuesday, Thursday. It doesn't necessarily matter which days you're posting, but there are a number of advantages to doing this. First of all, it increases user engagement, because if users know that you're going to be posting content on Wednesday, then they might actually actively seek out your Instagram profile on Wednesday to see the new photo that you've posted. If you're just posting photos randomly, they might be less likely to seek out your profile and just look at your photos in their feed on Instagram. So it's a great way to have people actually go straight to your profile page. It also makes it a lot easier for you as a business owner or employee to plan content. So maybe you're posting on every Tuesday and Wednesday. You can be prepared for those Tuesday and Wednesday posts. You can plan what content you're going to post, what time it's going to be posted, without this kind of random aspect to posting your content to Instagram. Now, there's another aspect to posting schedules for Instagram, and that's the idea of third-party apps. There are some third-party applications that will allow you to plan your content, upload the photo and the caption that's going to go along with the photo on, say, Monday, and then have it automatically posted on Friday. Now again, there are a few different options, but I'd like to show you a few of my favorite ones. So many of you have probably heard of this platform. It's called Hootsuite, and you can use Hootsuite to manage all sorts of different social media marketing efforts. It's not just for Instagram, but you can schedule posts on Instagram with Hootsuite. So if you scroll down a little bit, it kind of tells you what you can do, and that's the same for all of these sites that I'm going to show you. But basically, if you already use Hootsuite, then that is a great opportunity for you to use it for Instagram as well. And now I'm not going to go through all the details of how you would actually use Hootsuite to do this, and I'm not going to go over the pricing in this video, but I do want to let you know that these are available. So Hootsuite's the first one. The second one is very similar to Hootsuite. It's kind of a all-encompassing social media marketing tool, and it's called Sprout Social. Also been around for a long time. A lot of people would consider Hootsuite and Sprout Social kind of the two industry leaders when it comes to third-party apps for managing social media. And then the third one that I want to talk about is called Sked Social. It's SKED, social.com. It used to be called Schedugram, and it was actually the first automatic posting app that was released for Instagram, which is why I'm still including it. Hootsuite and Sprout Social certainly have the market share when it comes to these third-party social media management applications, but Sked Social has been dedicated specifically to Instagram from the early days, so I think it's important to note as well. So if you don't want to manually develop a schedule and kind of plan things on your own, you can use one of these third-party apps to help do some of the heavy lifting for you. When developing your posting schedule, it's a good idea to participate in themed days by using popular hashtags that are specific to each day of the week. Hashtags are very important on Instagram. It's your avenue to building a following and reaching a wider audience. When you add a hashtag to your post will show up for any user who's viewing posts submitted to that particular hashtag, whether they follow you yet or not. One of the theme days that's pretty general across Instagram is called Throwback Thursday and uses the hashtag TBT. The TBT hashtag is used when people post photos of themselves as a child, historic photos, old cars, anything that's considered a throwback photo. So as a business, you could post photos of your old products, maybe what your old location used to look like, or just some history on your organization. Now let's take a look at some of the most popular hashtags for each day of the work week. I'm not going to discuss every single hashtag shown, but a list of these hashtags is included as part of the exercise files for this course. Okay, so some popular hashtags on Monday: Monday morning, Monday mood, the Monday blues, of course we all know what that is, Monday fun day, I'm sure there's a Sunday fun day as well, and then Monday night is also a very popular one. For Tuesday, we also have Tuesday night. We have Tuesday vibes instead of the Monday blues. Tuesday thoughts, some alliterations here. Another alliteration, Tuesday tip. And then Tuesday treat. For Wednesday, one of my favorite ones, Wednesday wisdom. An opportunity to post some words of wisdom to your followers. We also have Wednesday night, very popular. Wednesday motivation, hump day, middle of the week. Wednesday workout, alliteration there. And another alliteration, Wednesday words. For Thursday, of course, we have TBT, which I mentioned earlier. Thursday night seems to be a theme going on here. Thursday thoughts. Like on Tuesday, we also have Thursday vibes. And then, of course, we have the Thursday mornings. And then for Friday, guess what the first one's going to be? It's Friday night. But you got to have that Friday feeling. That's a fun one. The Friday night lights. Friday fun, of course. And then, what are you eating for dinner on Friday? So I'm not just putting up random hashtags for all of you. These are hashtags that are really popular on Instagram. So you can actually search Google for popular Instagram hashtags and you'll find a number of sources that are posting all sorts of popular hashtags. But when you actually go to add a hashtag in Instagram, it will tell you how many posts that particular hashtag has. So you can see which ones are more popular just by looking at that as well. But as you use Instagram for marketing, I definitely recommend that you make use of themed days and the popular hashtags. It will really make it so that your content reaches a wider audience. Advertising on Instagram is a great way to reach a wider audience than you normally would by posting regular photos and videos. Instagram allows companies to advertise by uploading promoted posts. These are posts that will be shown in users' feeds even if they're not following you on Instagram. This can be a good way for companies of any size to increase the awareness of their products and services. You can start a promoted post campaign for as little as $1 per day. Businesses can advertise on Instagram in the exact same way that they advertise on Facebook. As you may know, Instagram is owned by Facebook and they've combined the system that both platforms use for advertising. It's called Facebook Ads Manager. In fact, you can run the exact same promotional campaign on Facebook and Instagram simultaneously. There's a lot of information about Instagram advertising on the Instagram website at business.instagram.com/advertising. So let's take a look. Okay, so here we are on Instagram.com. And as we scroll down the page here, Instagram lets us know the different ways that we can advertise. So you can advertise in Instagram stories, which, if you're familiar with Instagram, those are those stories that show up that only last for 24 hours. Just keep in mind that if you advertise in stories, you need to have a creative that's in portrait orientation so that it looks well on devices when they're being held in that orientation. If you're advertising in just the regular photos or videos, you can make them square or even wide angle if you'd like. So if we scroll down, we can see some of the other ways that we can advertise. So you can advertise in just regular photos. So this was the original way that you could advertise on Instagram. Just shows up in people's feed just as a single photo. If we scroll down, you'll notice we can also do video ads. So same idea, but with video. So that's a nice addition to advertising here on Instagram. We can also do carousel ads. So this is very similar to just a normal photo, but all of these carousel ads contain multiple photos. So actually this is a little video and it shows somebody scrolling through the carousel ads. So you can see that if you're selling products and you have multiple products of the same type, so in this example we have different shoes, it's a great way to feature multiple products so that maybe you can find one that the user really likes best. All right, let's keep scrolling down here. So Instagram also now features collections, which are essentially the Instagram storefronts. It's not necessarily a form of advertising, so I think it's a little odd that they have it on this page, but it certainly is a form of marketing that we've talked about in this course. So if you are a larger organization and you go through the whole approval process for storefronts, you can convert customers right on Instagram nowadays by having an Instagram collection or a storefront. And you can also advertise in the Explore section of Instagram. So this is the area of Instagram that people are looking to discover new people to follow and new content. So that's a nice way to capture people who are actually looking for something new, right? Instead of just going through their feed and they want to see that the people they follow, and then all of a sudden an ad pops up and they're like, well, what's this? Well, if they're on the Explore page, you know that they're looking for something new. So that's a great place to give them something new to look at. So if you're looking for more information on how to actually set up an advertising campaign using Facebook Ads Manager, you may want to take a look at my course called Instagram Advertising that's available on this site, as well as the course Facebook Marketing, also available on this site, which will give you a more technical view at how you can actually implement an Instagram advertising campaign. When using Instagram for business purposes, it's important to optimize your Instagram profile so that people know who you are and where they can find out more about your organization. To do this, make sure that you're on your own profile page in Instagram. And you can do that by tapping on the silhouette icon in the bottom right of the screen. From our profile page, we can tap on the Edit Profile button to edit all of the information displayed to users on our Instagram profile. On this screen, we have a number of different fields that we can fill out to give people more information about who we are here on Instagram. The first two fields are very similar. The first one, called Name, is for the real name of the person or organization using the account. The second field is the account username. So the first field is your more professional looking name here on Instagram. You can actually put spaces in that field, whereas in the other one you can't. So the first one, go ahead and put your actual organization name or your brand name, however you'd like to appear on Instagram. Notice that we have Pixelford Photography. In the second field, you can put a very similar name, but you can't put any spaces, so you may need to use an underscore or just use your organization name without spaces. So you can see for us, again, we have Pixelford Photography in the first field and just Pixelford in the second field. It's really important to enter a website in the third field on this page because we need to give people a place to go outside of Instagram where they can find out more about our brand. So go ahead and enter your website in that field. You can see we have pixelford.com. We also have the opportunity to add a short bio to our Instagram account. So you can see we have New York area photography specializing in capturing, and if we tap, in capturing special moments and occasions. So you can tap to edit it. You'll notice I put a hashtag in the bio. That doesn't really do anything in terms of increasing the exposure of our Instagram profile. It just gives users a place where they can tap on the photography hashtag because it's something that we're interested in. So we're kind of showing them that we are using Instagram actively, that we're involved with hashtags, and that this is one that's important to us. So go ahead and enter a bio that's fitting for your organization and then tap Done. I really want to stress that this description should be short because people aren't going to read an entire history or a huge mission statement here on Instagram. They're here to look at photos, so short, sweet, and to the point is best. You'll notice that we have the Facebook page linked to our Instagram account, and then we also have the category that our account is listed under. We chose the category when we converted our personal Instagram account to a business account, but you can always come in here afterwards and you can modify the category or you could change the Facebook page that's linked to your account. In the contact options section, we have the option of providing an email address, a phone number, or a physical address so that people can contact us outside of Instagram. So if I tap on that, you'll notice that right now we only have our email address, so people can only email us. But if you're the type of business that has a public phone number, go ahead and enter that here. And if you are a brick and mortar store location, go ahead and enter your address so people know where they can find you. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and go back to the edit profile page. The private information section at the bottom is for internal use by Instagram, so don't worry about that section too much. Now, the last thing, and probably the most important thing, is to add a profile photo to your Instagram account so that people can easily recognize who you are when they see the thumbnail photo next to your comments or your photos. So to do that, we're going to scroll back to the top of this screen. You'll notice that we already have a profile photo, but if we didn't or if we wanted to change it, we can tap on the button that says Change Profile Photo. When we do that, we have the options to remove the current photo, we can import a photo from Facebook, we can take a new photo, or we can choose a photo that's on our phone's library. What I'd recommend here is to actually email yourself a photo of your logo and send it to an email account that you have access to on the device you're using, so most likely your phone. Then you can go ahead and save that photo to your photos library, head back over to Instagram, and then tap on the Choose from Library option here. Notice that Instagram configures their thumbnail photos in a circular fashion, so make sure that you use a logo that will look okay inside of a circle. Now, we already have our logo uploaded, so I'm not going to make any changes to that for now. If you do choose a photo, Instagram does give you the option to zoom in or crop the photo to your choosing, so you don't have to do all that editing beforehand if you don't want to. So now that we've added some information to our Instagram profile, we can tap on the Done button in the top right corner of the screen to save this information. When we do that, we're brought back to our Instagram profile. And if you've added any information to your own Instagram profile, you should now see it updated. If you started with a brand new account and you didn't have a description or a photo, your Instagram account should really be looking a lot more professional now. Users will know who you are and what you do when they access your Instagram profile page. In this video, we're going to take a look at the process of uploading photos and videos to our Instagram account. To upload a new photo from the Instagram profile page, we need to tap on the plus icon towards the bottom of the screen. When we tap on plus, you'll notice that we have some different photos that show up that are on our device. By default, we're currently looking at our photo library, as you can see at the bottom left of our screen. If we wanted to take a new photo or video, we could tap on either photo or video at the bottom of the screen to record a new photo or video right from within the Instagram app. So we can go ahead and select the photo that we'd like to use, and the one that I'd like to use is already selected. Now, this is a landscape-oriented photo, so it's more wide than it is tall, as you can see if I zoom out a little bit, and I can zoom just by pinching my fingers on the screen here. You didn't used to be able to post horizontal landscape photos in the past on Instagram, but you can now. But a lot of people still feel that square photos look best, especially when you're looking at somebody's actual Instagram profile page. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to zoom in to make this photo square, and maybe we'll try and kind of center the sunset a little bit. Notice that towards the bottom right of the photo, we have the option to select multiple. And we'd select this if we wanted to make this a carousel post, which means we could post multiple photos to one post and then people can swipe through the different photos to see all of them. You can also tap on the button just to the left of Select Multiple, and that will prompt you to download another app called Layout, which will allow you to post one photo but as a collage. So you look at one photo on your screen, but it'll have multiple photos within it. You don't have to swipe through all of them. But we're not going to do that right now. So I have this photo selected and I have it zoomed how I like. So I'm just going to tap on Next at the top right. Now we have the option to apply our Instagram filters. So you can see all of your filters are listed horizontally across the bottom of your screen. So you can scroll through these filters to kind of take a look. Now I'll give you a little pro tip. If there are certain filters that you really like, you can actually tap on them and hold, and you can drag them over. So you can change the order that they're listed here. So I could move that one to the front if I use that one a lot. And when you tap on the different filters, you'll notice that the photo changes accordingly. If at any point I want to see what the original photo looked like, I can just tap and hold up top on the photo itself, and it will show me what the original looked like. So you can see I'm tapping, and now I'm not. And as I go through the filters, so say we take a look at this moon filter, if I tap and hold, you'll see that's the original. So that's a good way to kind of see the changes that you're making by applying the filters. So you can go through and obviously, depending on your picture, you're going to want to use different filters. Now, at the same time, let's go ahead and tap on the Clarendon filter. I like that one for this photo. It's nice and bright. But at the same time, whether you use a filter or whether you just leave it as normal, you also have the option to tap on Edit at the bottom right. And this will allow you to make subtle adjustments to either your photo or the filter that you've applied. So I'm going to tap on Edit. You'll notice that now we can change very specific things about this photo. So if I tap on brightness, I could adjust the brightness so I can turn it down or I can turn it up. We'll leave it kind of in the middle for now. Same with contrast and all of these different options in here. So you can kind of go through these different settings on your own and see what you like. It's a lot of fun to play around with this on Instagram. Different photos look better with more brightness or less brightness. So I personally like to go in and custom edit every one of my photos. I think it just makes it a little bit more original, but the filters do look great. So that's a really nice option to use as well. So once we have our filters all set how we'd like, and I'm just going to leave this one as is. I think I'm using the Clarendon filter. We can tap on Next at the top right of the screen. This is where we can add all of the other information about our post. So I'm going to add a short caption, and we're going to include some popular hashtags that are related to photography. So let's write the caption first. Okay, so I have our caption written, but we haven't added any hashtags yet. And we really have three options for how we'd like to add our hashtags. We can include our hashtags right in the body of our caption. So, as people are reading it, we could go ahead and we could tap in front of the word fall here, and we could add the hashtag symbol, the pound symbol. And now when we post this, fall will be a clickable hashtag where people can tap on fall and they can see all the different photos that have been tagged with fall. And alternatively, if they're just looking at the fall hashtag, our photo should show up somewhere within the mix because we've added the hashtag to it. So we could also do it for like sunset and maybe even trees if we wanted to. Now, at the same time, a lot of people like to keep their actual caption that people are reading a little bit cleaner, so they don't put any of the hashtags in the main text of the caption. Instead, they'll kind of go to the end and they'll hit return and maybe add a period because you couldn't just have blank space on Instagram previously. And then they'll add their hashtags at the very bottom here, and they would remove them from the top. But I'm not going to do that right now. It's really a personal preference thing. Remember, hashtags are super, super important on Instagram. Unless you already have a bunch of customers lined up waiting to follow you, hashtags are your avenue to get more followers on Instagram. They help increase your visibility and help reach people who don't already know who you are. So you capture them with a photo, they see it because they're looking at a hashtag that you used, and then they click through to follow your account. So let's add a few more popular hashtags. I'm going to add a couple photography hashtags. And when I start typing a hashtag, we'll start to see a list populate with hashtags that have been recently popular. So you can know that these hashtags are being viewed quite a bit. So it's always a good idea to try and include some of these really popular hashtags. So we could choose photography. And then I happen to know that another popular hashtag for photography is eye-catching. And it's I is spelled just with I, not E-Y-E. So if I do I-C-A, not showing up yet. How about I-C-A-T? There you go. So eye-catching 2 million posts. And we could add more if we'd like as well. Now, as I add these, I also want to mention that, we're a photography studio, and that's what we're using as an example, but you're going to want to use hashtags that are related to your industry. So what you can do is you can actually search Google. You can search Google for popular Instagram hashtags for, and then insert your industry. And then you can take a look at what some of the more popular ones are. You can add up to 30 hashtags in your caption and then 30 hashtags in each comment, which takes me back to the third way to add hashtags to your post. You can avoid adding any hashtags to the actual caption and just post the hashtags in a comment. And we saw an example of this earlier in the course when we looked at the competitive photography studio. That's a popular thing to do for people who like to keep their posts nice and clean and easy to read. Really depends on your industry. I'm a tech person, a digital marketer. I think hashtags are really cool on Instagram. I like creative hashtags, so I add them right in the body of my post. But it really comes down to personal preference and the style of your organization. But I'm okay with this for now, so I'm just going to tap OK at the top right. If there were any people in this post, we could tap on the Tag People button, and then we could tap in the photo to select the person, and we could search to try and find the person so we could tag them so they'll be notified when this post is uploaded. If this photo was taken at a particular location, we could tap on the Add Location button, and we could tag the location as well. If the photo was taken at a particular location, tag it, because when people start looking at that location, they're looking at all the photos on Instagram that have had that location tagged, and your photo will show up, again, increasing visibility. Now, we also have the option to share this post to Facebook, Twitter, or Tumblr. As you know, our Facebook account is already linked. We did that when we converted our Instagram account to a business account, and Instagram photos look great on Facebook. The hashtags come through, they show up as Facebook hashtags, your photos show up, they look wonderful, and I highly recommend sharing your Instagram posts on Facebook. On Twitter, however, your photos don't show up, your text shows up, and then you just have to click on a link to actually be brought to Instagram to see your photo. So be aware of that. It doesn't look quite as good as it does on Facebook. Okay, so I'm ready to post this photo, so I'm just going to tap Share at the top right corner. And there it is. So you can see our photo has been posted. If we scroll down a little bit, you can see our caption is there, our hashtags have come through. So again, I think that shows the importance of the hashtags. All of the photos posted to a particular hashtag will show up somewhere within the mix, and then somebody may be looking and say, wow, that's an awesome photo. They tap on it. Oh, who posted this? Oh, it was Pixelford. All right, they have great photos. I'm going to follow them. That's how you get those new followers. So definitely make sure that you're using hashtags when you upload your photos and videos to Instagram, and this should give you the basics of how you can get photos and videos uploaded to your Instagram account. One thing that businesses have discovered since they started using social media is that it's not just enough to have a presence on social media and upload all of your advertisements and photos of your products, but it's also important to interact with the community. So let's talk about how we can do that on Instagram. We took a look at the searching section of Instagram earlier in the course, and it may be a good idea to search for users or terms related to your industry. Let's take another look at the competitive account we looked at earlier to explore how we can interact with other users on Instagram. So first of all, since this profile is in the same industry as us, let's go ahead and follow them. I can do that by tapping on the follow button at the top of their profile page. Now, let's take a look at some of the photos here. I like this one with the sunset, so I'm just going to tap on this photo. So since I like this photo, we can actually give it a like here on Instagram by either tapping on the heart icon just below and to the left of the photo, or by just double tapping right on the photo itself. And you'll notice that the heart is now filled in, so we've liked the photo, and the user will get notified that we've liked the photo. So that's great, but we can actually do a little more here. We can be a little more personal by actually commenting on the photos. So if I tap on the chat bubble icon, we can leave a comment. It's important to note that on Instagram, you can @mention people just like you can on Twitter or Facebook. So we could go ahead and we could type the @ symbol, and then we could start typing the name of this account. Then we could just tap on the account, and you'll notice that it automatically populates the @Blue30 photography for us. So then we can just add a little message. And then when we're ready, we can tap on the post button. So you can see we've now commented on the photo, and we can see in the comment section, we have our thumbnail image appearing, and people could tap right on our comment to be taken to our Instagram profile. So this is just an example of how you can comment and like photos, but some ways that you could use this feature include if you see people uploading photos of your product or service, you can like the photos, comment on them, and then thank them for being one of your customers. Or if you see photos that you think some of your customers are really going to like, maybe there's a customer that's interacting a lot with your photos on Instagram, you could like a photo from somebody else's Instagram profile and then mention that customer and say, hey, I thought you might enjoy this. They're going to say, wow, Pixelford Photography is a company that I follow, but they actually know who I am and they know what I like on Instagram. That's great. So, if you can really start to interact with the Instagram community, you're going to get more followers, you're going to get more brand recognition, people are going to know who you are better, and it's a really important aspect to social media. So, as you're using Instagram, don't forget to interact with the photos that other people are posting as well. Don't just make Instagram a place where you dump all these photos and hope that you're going to get a bunch of followers, but really dive right into it and become a member of the community. You're definitely going to have a lot more success on Instagram if you're doing this than if you're just uploading a whole bunch of photos. Once you start uploading photos and videos to Instagram, people are going to start interacting with those photos and videos. They're going to start liking and commenting on them. It's important to review Instagram activity for a couple of different reasons. First of all, it's important to listen to the feedback of your followers. Maybe you've just posted a photo of a brand new product and people are commenting about what they like and what they don't like about it. That's important information that you can gather right here on Instagram. Additionally, it's also a great way to measure your success on Instagram. If you post 10 photos to Instagram and one of those photos is getting a lot more likes and comments than the other 9, it's important to take a look at that photo to find out why it's been so successful and how you can recreate that success in the future. Thankfully, Instagram has a feature built right in that allows us to do this. From our profile screen, if we tap on the fourth link at the bottom, which is the heart symbol, it will take us to the activity screen. If you have any unread activity, if people have interacted with your content and you haven't reviewed it yet, there'll be a little pink dot just above the heart symbol. That lets us know that we have unread activity. Once we tap on the activity link, we can see all of the interactions that have been made with our Instagram account. We can see when people start following us. Maybe they're related to our organization, so we could look through this list, we could tap on the profiles, and if we like their photos, we could follow them back. We can also see when people are liking or commenting on our photos. So it's always a good idea to come here to the activity screen. You can scroll down and it kind of tells you when the interactions took place. So some of them were this month, as you can see at the top, and then others were earlier. There's some suggested accounts as well. That's based on people who are interacting with our account. So I think as a business, it's really important to come over here to the activity page to keep tabs on how people are interacting with your business and what their response is to your uploads. By doing this, you can make sure that you're always improving the content that you're uploading to Instagram. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can modify your Instagram settings, and I'm going to highlight a few settings that I think may be useful for a business. To access your Instagram settings from your profile page, we're going to tap on the 3 lines at the top right, and then from here, we're going to tap on Settings. So here we are in our Instagram settings, and again, I'm not going to mention all of the different settings, but you can take a look at some of the ones that I don't mention on your own and see if they might be beneficial for your situation. So first of all, notice that there's a link in here to go to business settings. So let's tap on that to take a quick look. In this section, we can see any payments that we've made for promoted posts. We can also tap on the branded content section. There's some interesting things in here. This is where we can determine whether or not we'd like to manually approve tags. So by default, it's turned on. And what this means is that if somebody tags our company, we actually have to approve that tag before it will show up as a clickable link on Instagram. So this is a good option if you're getting a lot of spammy tags that don't seem related and seem like they might be some Instagram bots. And we'll talk about bots later on in the course. But I'm just going to back out of the branded content section for now. Have a few other options in the business section, but really not that important. So let's back out of that for now. Let's take a quick look at privacy. So in the privacy section, you'll notice that there's a comments area right at the top. And if we tap on comments, we can actually choose whether we want to allow comments from everyone. We could turn off comments, and we can also filter comments. So by default, a Instagram filter is turned on, but we could turn on a manual filter, and then we could add our own words in there to filter out certain things that people are commenting. So if we're getting a lot of comments that are inappropriate, you might want to make use of these features in there. Additionally, down in the connections area, we can change our account privacy. So if you're a business on Instagram, you probably want to be public, but if for some reason you wanted to make your account private, that's where you could do it. It's where you can manage blocked accounts, muted accounts, and you can review all the accounts that you follow from within the privacy settings. Let's go back. The next section I want to look at is the security section. This is where you can change your password if you'd like to. So I think that's pretty important as well. We'll go back one more. And then I also want to look at the account section. So if we tap on account, you'll notice that this is where we could switch back to a personal account if we wanted to. That's at the bottom of the screen. If you wanted to manage your linked accounts, you could also do that in here. You'll notice that there's a linked accounts option towards the middle of the screen. If you tap on that, you can manage your Facebook account. You could add a Twitter or Tumblr account if you wanted to, so you could post your Instagram photos to Twitter and Tumblr when you upload them to Instagram. So obviously there's some more settings in here that you could take a look at on your own, but I did want to point out a few of the settings that I thought were most important for businesses using Instagram. The stories feature in Instagram has become increasingly popular, and marketers should definitely make use of this feature as best as they can. I say as best as they can because although seemingly simple, the subtleties of Instagram stories can be a bit complicated, easy to learn but difficult to master. Let's start by discussing some of the basics. Instagram stories are different from regular posts because, first of all, they don't show up in your regular Instagram feed. Additionally, they're only available to view for 24 hours. Stories can, however, be a good way to add personality to your brand on Instagram. Instagram stories show up at the top of your home screen on Instagram. So you can see right now, we only have a icon for our story at the top left, but if we had other users that we followed on Instagram who've uploaded stories, we would see their profile icons listed right next to ours, and we could tap to start viewing the stories. And the way it works is you only view a story for 20 seconds, and then it moves on to the next story. So we would view all of our followers' stories at once until we decide to exit out of story mode. To create a story from our homepage, going to tap on the camera icon at the top left of the screen. Now, when you're first brought to stories, you're prompted to either take a photo or record a video. To take a photo from here, you could just tap on the circle button in the bottom middle. To record a video, you can tap and hold on that button. However, you can actually use images and videos that are saved to your device in stories by tapping on the gallery symbol in the bottom left. So you'll notice that when I do that, I'm now brought to my camera roll and we can select images and videos that are already on my device. So let's go ahead and select a photo to upload. So I'm just going to choose this kind of behind the scenes photo here. Now, to make this a true story, we need to get a little creative. Notice that we have some buttons available to us at the top right of our screen. The first button just allows us to download this story. So like I mentioned earlier, stories are only available for 24 hours to view, but you as the creator can download it so that you could view it later on. Your viewers won't be able to see it after 24 hours, but you will. The second option allows us to add some filters to our story. And this works really good if you have photos of people because I'm sure you've seen the Instagram photos with like the cat ears and the dog ears and that sort of thing. So that's what some of these are. But if you scroll over, there are some other options as well. This one might work in this photo. Yeah, so you can see it adds a little bit of some sparkles to it. These are great for taking regular photos and kind of animating them a little bit to make them a little more lively. The cinnamon roll is kind of cool for this one, right? So you can go through these on your own time and take a look. But the third button over, and actually let me just remove this for now. But the third button over is the stickers button. And this is probably the most effective feature of stories for businesses and what people use a lot, even if they're not running a business. So this is the stickers option. And in the stickers option, we can add a number of elements to our story. So we could tag a location, we could mention someone, we could add a hashtag, we can add music, GIFs, dates, we can run polls, which we're going to look at in a second. We can ask open-ended questions. And then as you scroll down, you have some other options as well. You can even get donations from Instagram. But then these ones at the bottom just add a little bit of flair to your story. So for now, let's go ahead and let's choose a poll. And you'll notice that now we're prompted to create a question for our poll. So we can just say, have you ever been to a photo shoot? And now this question is essentially a yes or no question, but if it wasn't, we could go in here and we could tap to modify the answer. So, we could say maybe. But for now, we'll just do yes and no. So once we're happy with our poll question, we can tap done at the top right. And now we can tap and hold on this element, so the question element, and we can move it around our story wherever we'd like. At the same time, if there are elements that we'd like to move out of our story, delete, we can tap and hold, so say on the date here, and I can drag it down to the trash can, and that will delete it from our story. The fourth option at the top right just allows us to draw on our photo. So if we tap on the squiggly line, we can then select a color at the bottom, and we could just draw on the photo if we wanted to. So obviously, you need to get really creative for that, and that's not my specialty. However, you might be really good at that. So I'm just going to tap Done for now. And then the final option is to add text. So if we tap on that, we can start typing some text. We could change the color of it if we wanted to, and then we could move that around our story as well. Now, once we're done creating our story, if we wanted to share this as a normal story, we can just tap on the Your Story button at the bottom left, and now it will be available for all of our followers to view. Alternatively, you could just send this to a particular user by tapping on the Send To button at the bottom right. But as a business, generally speaking, you're going to want these to be publicly accessible. So let's just tap on Your Story at the bottom left. And now you'll notice when we do that, a rainbow color appears around our profile image, which means that that user, and it happens to be us, has an unread story. So they have a story uploaded that we haven't viewed yet. So if we tap on our profile icon at the top, we can view our story. Now you notice the story only lasts for a certain amount of time, but if you tap and hold in the middle of the screen, it will pause it so that it doesn't just go to the next story. And now we could, answer the question. We could tap on yes, that we have been to a photo shoot, and you'll notice that we're starting to see the results come in there. So then we could tap to view our story again, and if more people answer the question, we would then see the updated results. If we had other users that were uploading stories, instead of it taking us back to this homepage after we finish watching the story, it would just move on and show the next person's story. Now, I do want to just quickly mention that you can add videos to stories as well. So if we tap on the top left to add a new story, we go to our gallery. I have a video that I'd like to add. You do need to make sure that it is in portrait orientation because all stories are viewed in portrait, not landscape. But if I tap to add the video, you'll notice that it shows up kind of like the photo, and we can edit all of the elements. We can add stickers, anything that we want to this story, just like we did with the first one. I'm not going to add anything for sake of time here, but I'll just tap on your story at the bottom left, and it will upload it. And now when we tap to view our story, you'll notice that if you look at the very top, there are actually two story elements. So we already viewed the first one, so now we're viewing the second one. But if we were to go back in and we were to view them all again, we start at the beginning. So we see the first one we uploaded, and then it moves right into the second one. So you can add these stories together to create a story, right? That's the whole idea of this. And you can use images to create what seems like a video. When you add multiple images together and you use the filters that are available to you in Stories mode, you can essentially create a video that's made up of a bunch of photos. So as you can see, there are a ton of options when it comes to creating stories, and it will take some practice to get used to all the features. But don't be afraid to try things out and be creative. You can always delete a story after creating it. I think that stories are great for showing behind the scenes footage, showing what your business looks like in action, not necessarily the final product, but the process that it takes to get to that final product. It really adds that personality to your Instagram account. In this video, we're going to talk about how to make use of the Instagram Stories feature while being mindful of how much time is spent creating stories. When it comes to utilizing Instagram Stories for business purposes, in my opinion, it becomes a balancing act between how much time you put in creating stories versus how much engagement you get out of them. Because they're only viewable for 24 hours, a lot of work is needed to maintain an active story and keep it relevant. Especially if you're just starting out on Instagram with few followers, it may not seem worth it. For larger organizations, this shouldn't be a problem because they can dedicate a full-time staff member specifically for Instagram. For small and medium-sized organizations, however, this can seem daunting. There are, however, a couple ways to utilize Instagram Stories for marketing without spending large amounts of time each and every day. The first strategy is to reuse uploaded photos and videos. I'm talking about photos and videos that you've already uploaded to your regular Instagram feed. Let's take a look. So here we are on our Instagram profile, and if we tap to view one of the photos that we've already uploaded, say this Ferris wheel photo, you'll notice that below this photo, there's an arrow icon, and we can tap on the arrow icon to post it to our story. So you'll notice that when that pops up, we could also send it to an individual person, but the first option that we have is add post to your story. So let's tap on that. So here we go. We're in the story creation screen, and if you choose, you can use the story editing tools to add some creative flair to your post like we did earlier in the course. Of course, we can zoom in and we can change this all around however we'd like. I'm not going to go too much into the editing right now. So when we're ready, we'll just tap on the Your Story button in the bottom left. So now we've added this previous post to our story. This is option number 1 to use stories efficiently by repurposing content that you've used in the past. Up until now in this course, I've stated that stories only remain viewable for 24 hours, and while that holds true, another feature known as Story Highlights will allow your stories to be viewable on your profile page for as long as you want. Let's take a look. If we take a look at our Instagram profile page, we'll notice that right above our photos, there are 3 little circles. One of them says new, and then there are a couple other circles that I've already published earlier on, and these are highlights. So, if we tap on one of these, we can see it as a highlight, and it will go through all of our highlights. So highlights, again, are stories that we've essentially added to our profile page, and they will remain there as long as we keep them there. So you can see I've already created 2 story highlights. Let's go ahead and create a new one. We can do that by tapping on the New button. Now, when we do that, it brings up all of the stories that we've published in the past. So we don't need to recreate the story. So we created one earlier on in the course. Let's see, it was this one at the bottom left with the camera in it. So we can tap on this story, and we could select multiple at once to add to this highlight. So a highlight can be a collection of stories, but I'm just going to add one for now. I'm going to tap next. And on this screen, we have the option of changing the cover. So that's helpful if you did add multiple stories to this one highlight. You can choose which story you'd like to be the preview of this in the thumbnail. And then we can call this whatever we want. So we can call this photo shoot. And then we'll just tap on add. So now you can see that that story highlight has been added to my profile page. And if we tap on it, we'll be able to view that story highlight, and then it will go right into the other ones that we have on our profile page. Now, one pro tip that I'd like to add is that if you have multiple story highlights, the order that they're listed on your profile may change. It always shows the most recently added highlight as the first one. So let's say you have, you'll notice on the screen right now, we have this skate highlight. And let's say I wanted that one to be number one. There's actually a workaround that we can do to change that. So we're actually going to tap on that particular highlight. And we're going to tap on more down at the bottom right. And we're actually going to remove from highlight. And we're going to remove it. And you'll notice that it's no longer there. And now we're just going to re-add it. So we're going to tap on new. And from here, we're going to find the skate highlight. It's the top right. And we would have to give it a name again. Again, this is a workaround. Unfortunately, there isn't another way to do this right now. But you'll notice that now the skate highlight is first. So this is really helpful if, say, you have a story highlight that's maybe it's about your organization, and you always want that one to be first. When you add a new highlight, it's going to get moved down the list. So you can just delete it and re-add it so that it becomes the first highlight again. So hopefully this will give you some strategies that you can use to be more efficient when you're creating Instagram stories, because again, by default, they only last 24 hours. So we're trying to maximize how long our content can last here by using some of these other strategies. Once you've become familiar with the actual process of creating Instagram stories, it's time to decide what type of content you should be adding to stories. Let's take a look at some ideas and proven strategies to get those juices flowing. Behind-the-scenes content is always great for Instagram stories. You may have some photos of your workspace, and they might not be too glamorous, so you don't want to post them directly to your feed, but it does give your brand that human touch and that personal feel when somebody sees them in stories. But they don't last forever, so Instagram stories is a great place for that behind-the-scenes content. It's also a great place for press releases and announcements, especially if you're trying to build up a little buzz about something. You can do a soft announcement in your story so that even people who are reading your feed don't hear about it. It's just those users that are watching your stories, they get that feel that they're special and they're part of a smaller group of people that follow you. That can create an intimate connection between you and your followers. So you might want to think about teasers, releases, and announcements specifically for Instagram stories. This is a really important tip. Add your location using the stickers feature in stories. A lot of people consume Instagram stories by looking at a particular location. So somebody might be looking at all of the stories from Los Angeles, California. Well, if you didn't add the location to your story, you're not going to show up there. I've read online some people saying that if you're creating Instagram stories, you might see a 50% increase in how many views they get just by adding your location. So if it's relevant, make sure you add your location. Shoutouts. This is again a great idea to give your brand a little more of a personal feel. If you have some users that are following you and interacting quite a bit with your brand, or maybe even some other companies that you work with, stories is a great place to give some shoutouts to those individuals or other organizations. Again, it's that human touch, that personal feel. It lets people know that there's a human behind your organization. It's also a great place for inspirational messages. A lot of people are browsing quickly through their stories. They can tap through to the next one if they don't want to watch all of a particular story. But it can be a nice way to give a little bit of motivation. Hey, here's something positive while you're going through these stories to direct your path through the rest of your workday or your weekend. So it's definitely a good option for stories as well, something that you wouldn't necessarily post directly on your Instagram feed. Creating a story that talks about your organization and what you stand for, especially when you use it for Instagram highlights, can be really effective. Remember, highlights stay there for as long as you keep them on your profile. So one idea is to create a highlight that's all about your organization. What's your mission statement? What are your goals? Is there any important history that people should know? Anything else that you want users to know who are looking to learn more about you? You can add all of that into your Instagram stories and then add it to the highlights section to keep it right at the top of your profile page. I also want to mention a feature that you may have to work a little bit to gain access to, but once you have 10,000 followers on Instagram, you can then add links into your stories. So you could create a story, maybe it's an advertisement for a new blog post or a new video that you've released. Then you can tell people, hey, swipe up if you want to hear more. When they swipe up, if you have the 10,000 followers, they'll actually be directed to that link that you specified when you created the story. So that's kind of a good little tip, but you do have to have those 10,000 followers first. If we talk again about utilizing Instagram stories, another option is to categorize your posts. I see a lot of users doing this. This is best if you have a lot of posts. So let's say you've got, 50 to 100 posts, maybe even more than that, maybe 1,000 posts. You can start adding your favorite ones to a story highlight, and then you can categorize them. So you might have, product reviews. You might have before and after pictures. You might have behind the scenes photos. You can keep them all categorized right at the top of your profile. So if somebody doesn't feel like scrolling through your entire feed, they can tap on the particular highlight that's most interesting to them. So these are just some ideas to get your juices flowing. I do want to leave you with a little message. And that message is to remember to be creative and fearless. And I really want to stress fearless on this one. Stories are only there for 24 hours. They don't last forever. This is your opportunity to go outside of your comfort zone. Throw the pasta against the wall and see if it sticks. You can look at stories as your live testing ground for new content ideas. You may be pleasantly surprised by how well some seemingly simple content ideas perform in Instagram stories. Creating a unique and cohesive style for your Instagram account can really help you stand out from the competition. Let's take a look at some ideas on how we can achieve that. First of all, you may want to consider using a unified color scheme for your Instagram pictures. You may want to post all of your photos in black and white, or photos that have a more blue, cool feel to them, or maybe photos that are more orange and red with a warmer feel. Either way, you can create this style that goes beyond each individual picture so that when someone looks at your feed as a whole, it will appear as one big piece of artwork. It's also a good idea to use a custom hashtag. You could make up a hashtag using the name of your organization or come up with a creative hashtag related to your industry. And then you can use that hashtag for every single post that you publish to Instagram, and others can use that hashtag as well. You can even encourage your followers to use the hashtag, say in your stories. You can say, hey, if you're using our product, post a photo and add this hashtag. It's just a way to stand out a little bit and have a special place other than your account where you and users can go to see your products and services in action. When talking about being unique and creating a style on Instagram, you may want to think not just about the colors of the photos that you're posting, but what's in those photos. Maybe you want to have photos that are very minimalistic with just one or two items in each photo, or maybe you want to have a whole bunch of items. I follow a few people on Instagram that collect different things like old computers and technology stuff. And sometimes they post pictures that have like 20 different computers in them all over the place. And it's this own unique style, almost like a Where's Waldo style, that works well for them. But it depends on your organization's style in the industry that you're in. Some users have chosen to take advantage of the Instagram feed layout. The grid layout allows you to create conformity in groups of three. For instance, you can post a selfie, then a photo of your workspace, then a photo of a product. Then the next day, the same thing selfie, workspace, product, rinse, and repeat. Over time, your feed will start to look really attractive and artistic because all of the selfies will line up in one column, all of the workspace shots in another column, and then all of the product photos. And I actually have an example for you. I'm going to move over to one of my Instagram accounts. Now, please don't judge me here. This is an Instagram account of my cats, and I use it to do a lot of testing and that sort of thing on Instagram. But if you look at my feed, I've actually used the Instagram layout. So I have two cats, and I post the photos in a particular order. I post a photo of Maya, then I post a photo of Ziggy, and then I post a photo of both of them together. And I do that over and over again. So you can see that the first column here is all photos of both of them together. The second column is all photos of Zig, and the third column is all photos of Maya. So I've made use of that strategy here on this test account. Lastly, remember to continue being authentic. These strategies are just some ideas, but I'm sure you can modify them and come up with some of your own ideas for how you can be unique on Instagram. Hashtags are a crucial element of marketing on Instagram. They allow you to reach a much wider audience than just those that follow your account. When you publish a post to your Instagram feed, you should be adding relevant hashtags in order to make it as discoverable as possible. For example, if we're uploading this photo to our account, after we've added a descriptive caption, which we have already, taking a stroll in the rain, we could add some hashtags like rain, umbrella, city, walking, and shops. These are all obvious hashtags to add to this photo, but there may also be some more obscure hashtags that you may want to use. For example, the eye-catching hashtag is often used for photos that really grab people's attention. Discovering these more obscure hashtags will take some time, but there are a couple of tips to finding different hashtags. When you start typing a hashtag, a list of popular hashtags will start to appear, and you can see how many posts have been tagged with each particular one. For example, if I start to type photography, we'll just type, say, photo, and now we have our list. So there's 534 million posts tagged photography. You can see hashtag photo, photo of the day, photographer, photo shoot, and the list goes on. You can kind of assume that the more posts a particular hashtag has, the more popular that hashtag is considered. So when you're adding hashtags to your next post, do some experimenting to see if you can find some related hashtags that you wouldn't necessarily think of right away. Another way to find more obscure hashtags is to follow others in your industry and see what hashtags they're using. Finally, you may also want to follow some hashtags yourself on Instagram. This is one of the best ways to discover new users and new hashtags. You can either search for hashtags to follow from within the Instagram app on the search page, or you can tap on a hashtag in a post and then tap on the follow button when you're brought to that hashtag's feed. So let's go ahead and let's just post this photo. So let's go ahead and tap on the umbrella hashtag. So now we're viewing all the photos and videos that people have tagged with umbrella. And you'll notice at the top we have the option to follow this hashtag. At the same time, there's also a list of related hashtags. So this could give us some ideas right here on different hashtags that might be a good fit for our organization. I recommend that you follow a number of hashtags related to your industry so you can start to interact with those posts and become an influencer in that industry on Instagram. You can also take a look at the photos that other users in your industry are posting and see what hashtags they're using. Let's talk about a few additional considerations when working with hashtags. You can fit up to 30 hashtags in the description of a photo on Instagram. You can also fit up to 30 hashtags in a comment on Instagram. It isn't necessary to always max out the number of hashtags in each post, but the more you add, the more potential reach that post will have. Some users don't put any hashtags in the caption of a post to make it clean and neat, but then they'll add their 30 hashtags to the first comment on the post, so it will be more discoverable. Depending on what your style is, this may work for you. I want to quickly mention that there is one drawback of this strategy, and that is you can always go back in and edit the description or the caption of a photo, but you can't edit the comments. So if you're going to add hashtags to comments, you need to be absolutely certain that you've got them right the first time. I can't stress enough how important hashtags are in building your following on Instagram. I recommend that you make use of them as much as possible and become familiar with which ones are most popular in your industry. One way to increase the visibility of the post that you publish to Instagram is to add the location that the photo was taken to each post. So if we tap on the plus icon to add a new post, I have a picture of Central Park here. So this is from New York, New York. So let's go ahead and just modify it a bit and tap next. We could choose a filter if we wanted to, tap next again. So here we are in the area where we can add a description, we can tag people, and then of course we can add a location. So to add a location to this post, we're just going to tap add location, and then we're going to search for the location that we're looking for. So again, this is New York. So there we go, New York, New York. Now, oftentimes people will browse photos just based on location, maybe the place that they're living or the place that they're vacationing, and you want your photos to come up in that feed. So when you're adding a new post, remember to do this. This is really important. So from here, we could add all the other information, but we'll just tap share. And then if we go back to our profile, you'll notice that we have the photo posted. And you'll notice that at the top left, underneath our profile name, it says New York, New York, and we could tap on New York, New York to see other photos from that location. Now, this isn't only important to use in our actual feed posts, but also in our stories. Now, we covered this briefly in the stories chapter, but I do want to reiterate it because it's so important. So we'll go to the home screen and we'll tap to add a new post. We tap on the camera icon at the top left to add a story. And we can just tap on the photo that we were just using. So here we are in the story creation area, and we need to add a location sticker. So I'm going to tap on the stickers icon at the top. And now I'm going to tap on location. And we get the same screen that we got when we were adding the location for the regular feed post. So we'll search for New York, New York. And there we have it. We'll move it down so it doesn't cover up our picture. And we can go ahead and tap your story to add this to our story. And now when people are looking at stories specifically from New York, our photo will pop up. Again, this is really important. I've really heard a lot of people having a lot of success in gaining new followers just by adding their location to their stories specifically. So make sure that whenever possible on Instagram that you're adding your location to both your feed posts and your stories. It's not going to hurt you. It can only help you reach more people. Running sticker polls and asking open-ended questions on Instagram can be a great way to engage your followers and get some important feedback either on your content or on your organization's products and services. So let's take a look at how we can run some sticker polls, how we can ask some open-ended questions, and then how we can view the results. So what we need to do is we need to create a story so that we can add a sticker poll. That's the only place where we can run sticker polls. It's in the stories. We can't do it on a regular feed. So we're going to tap on the home button. And then we're going to tap on the camera icon to add a new story. Now let's just use this New York picture, Central Park. And again, we're going to look at two different types of polls. We're going to look at the sticker polls and then the open-ended questions. So to access either of these, we need to tap on the stickers button towards the top. And then we need to choose the type of sticker that we'd like to use. So the first one is the poll sticker. So it comes up and we're just going to ask, have you ever been to Central Park? And then we could tap to edit our answers. We can only have two answers, so it has to be binary, either one or the other. But we could put in a maybe, or we could put, how many times have you been, less than 10 or over 10, something like that. But we can just leave that as yes and no for now. And then we'll tap done. And then we can, of course, tap and hold to drag this around our story. We'll put it towards the top there. Now let's take a look at how we can ask an open-ended question. We're going to tap on stickers again, but this time we're going to tap on questions. So it says, ask me a question. What is your favorite restaurant in NYC? And then, of course, I'm not going to add any potential answers because it's open-ended. So I'll just tap done. Now I can tap and hold to drag this around, and we can put it towards the bottom of our story. Okay, so now we have two different types of questions on here. We have the poll and we have the open-ended question. So when we're ready, we can just tap the Your Story button in the bottom left to publish this to our stories. Okay, and if we tap to view our story, here it is. So now we can actually answer our own question here. So we can say, yes, we've been to Central Park. And then we could, I don't have a favorite restaurant in NYC, but we'll just type something in here. We'll just type in, how about Italian? So the reason that I wanted to answer this is because I want to show you how you can review your answers. So we're here in our story, and I'm tapping on the screen. I'm holding on the screen right now, which is why it isn't going to our next story. But when you're looking at one of your stories, if you tap and swipe up, you'll notice that this new screen appears, and we haven't seen this yet in the course. This is where we can access some of the inside information about our story. So first of all, you might be brought to this Insights screen at first. So once this has been up long enough, this will start to show us some information regarding how many views it has, how many interactions, and that sort of thing. But if we tap on the eye symbol to the right of the bar graphs, which is where we were originally, we can see the results of our poll. So we can see that we have 1 vote for yes and no votes for no. And of course, as more results come in, that would be updated. At the same time, if you look down at the bottom, under the voters section, we can see all the people that have voted in our sticker poll. And then at the very bottom, we have the responses section where we can see all of the responses. So you can see it says Italian down there. So that is how you can take a look at the answers that people have given in your stories. You go to the story and you swipe up to get to this screen down here. So this is how you can run sticker polls and open-ended questions on Instagram. Again, it's a great way to get some feedback, engage the community, and maybe try and determine what type of content your users are looking for and what they enjoy most so that you can tailor your content for them in the future. In this video, I'm going to talk about Instagram shopping posts. Shopping posts allow users to purchase products directly from photos that you upload to Instagram. Now, in order to use the shopping posts feature, your business does need to meet a number of different requirements. So let's go over some of them. First of all, your business must be in an approved market. What that really means is it has to be in a certain part of the world. And if you go to business.instagram.com, there's a list of where you need to be located. But essentially, from looking over it, most markets are eligible except for the Asian markets. So if you're in North America, Central America, South America, Europe, or Oceania, Australia, you can most likely use the Instagram shopping posts feature. If you're in Asia, however, it's just not quite there yet. Additionally, your Facebook page must be connected to your Instagram account, which we did earlier in the course, so that shouldn't be a problem. Now, you also must primarily sell physical goods. I think this makes sense since we're going to be selling those items through the shopping posts. Now, here's where it gets a little more tricky. Your business account must be connected to a Facebook catalog. So I've mentioned it before, but Instagram is owned by Facebook, and they use a lot of the same marketing features. They're integrated through Facebook Ads Manager. And in order to sell items on Instagram, you have to first create a catalog on Facebook, and you can find out more about that at facebook.com/business. Now, once you meet all of these requirements, you'll find an option in your Instagram account that allows you to apply to be accepted to sell products on Instagram. And I'll tell you that for the most part, I'm only seeing big brands are approved for this. However, it's worth a shot if you sell physical items. So I do want to show you where you will find that option, however. Okay, so here we are on our Instagram profile, and the option will be located in Settings. So we're going to tap on the three lines at the top right. We're going to tap on Settings, and then we're going to tap on Business. Now, if you meet all the requirements, and that final one that's really required is that Facebook catalog, there will be another option in here. I think it's called Instagram Shopping, and that will allow you to apply to be accepted to the Instagram Shopping program. Now, we don't have that option for this account. However, let's take a look at an account that does feature some shopping posts. So I'm just going to go back to the IKEA account. I'm going to tap on the search icon, and I already have the IKEA account pulled up. So here it is. And as we scroll down, you'll notice that eventually you'll see there's a post here, a few posts that have the shopping bag symbol. And when we tap on one of those posts, you'll notice that we can then tap on the button at the bottom left of the photo that says View Products. And this photo only has one product, but you can have multiple products in the photo. So we can see that there's now a tag showing us the product. It looks like it's that drape there, and then the price. And we could then tap on that tag to see some more information about the product and purchase it if we'd like. So this is what the final result of a shopping post looks like on Instagram. And again, it can be a little bit daunting if you're a smaller business to get through the approval process. But once you do, it can certainly reap some really great benefits if you're selling a tangible product here on Instagram. Generally speaking, when people use Instagram, they use it from a phone or a tablet using the Instagram app. I do want to mention that you can, however, use Instagram on a computer. So here I am on Instagram.com, and when you go to Instagram.com, you can just log in with your Instagram account. Now, on a computer, you can review all of the photos and videos and even the stories that you've posted. So you can see I could click on one of these stories, and I can view them. I can also go to the top, and I can search for other accounts. So I could search for my Instagram account. There we go. Now, the only limitation is that you can't upload photos, which is a pretty big limitation if you're using Instagram for business. So if you're going to be uploading photos and creating content, you do need to use the mobile app on an iPhone, an Android device, or a tablet. However, if you're just looking for inspiration, you just want to comment on other people's posts, maybe start following some people, you can absolutely use a computer. You can see the pictures a little bit bigger. Just go to Instagram.com and log in with your Instagram account. So again, using a mobile device is the only way to upload content to Instagram. But using a computer is a great way to view photos on Instagram while you look for some more inspiration for your next post. If your organization has a blog or website, it's important to note that you can actually embed your Instagram uploads right into your website. There are a couple of different ways to do this depending on the platform that you're using to host your website. But if you visit instagram.com/developer/embedding, there are detailed instructions on how you can embed your Instagram photos. So you can scroll down this page and find out which situation is best for you. I'm going to show you what I think is the easiest way to embed an Instagram photo in your website. If you go directly to Instagram.com, you can log into your Instagram account and view your Instagram photos on a computer instead of in the mobile app. So here I am on Instagram.com and I've already logged into my account. So I'm just going to click on one of my photos to view it. When viewing a photo on the Instagram website, we can click the three little dots at the top right to get some more options. You'll notice that one of the options we have is embed. So let's click on that. Now, when we do that, an embed code appears. So this is a piece of code that we can copy into our website where we'd like the photo to appear. So if we click on the Copy Embed Code button, it will automatically copy it to our clipboard. Now we could go to our website and we could paste this code wherever we want the photo to appear. If you're using a web developer for your website, you may need to get them involved for this step. If you're using a platform like WordPress, you can actually just copy the web address at the top of your screen. So that's this address right up here. And then you can go and you can paste it right into the WYSIWYG editor in WordPress. So right where you add new articles where you're typing, you can just paste the Instagram link. And I'm not sure if you know this, but you can do the same thing with YouTube videos. So you just paste the YouTube video link, paste the Instagram link, and it will show up. So this is a great way to get users that are visiting your organization's website to follow you on Instagram because, if they're on your website and they see that you're uploading photos to Instagram, they may say, oh, wow, this is a great person for me to follow. And then you'll get a new follower on Instagram. So don't forget about this feature. Again, it's a great way to build your following across multiple networks. As you start to use Instagram for your business and start to gain a following, it's important to make use of the Instagram Insights feature so that you can gain a better idea of which of your posts are being most successful and just how many followers and interactions you're receiving on Instagram. To access insights from our Instagram profile page, we're going to tap on the three lines at the top right, and then we're going to tap on Insights. So you can see that when we access Insights, there are three sections within Insights. We have the content section, the activity section, and the audience section. By default, we're first brought to the content section. This section tells us how successful our recent posts have been. So first of all, we can see in the overview section how many posts that we've published this week. So we've published 8 posts and stories this week. Then down below, we can see our posts. And notice that there's a symbol that's overlaid on each photo. That's how many times each post has been seen. If we wanted to see more of our posts, we could tap on See All. From here, we could change some of the filters up at the top to look at a different time frame. So we could switch it to 7 days if we wanted to, and that sort of thing. But let's go back. So that's a good way to gauge which posts are being most successful. If you have one post in here that's been seen 1,000 times and another post that's been seen 20 times, what's the difference? Why did that one post do so well? How can you recreate that in the future? And why did that other post do so poorly? And how can you avoid doing whatever you did with that post in the future? If we scroll down in this section a little bit, you'll notice that we have some of the same information for our stories. Okay, so that's the content section. Now let's take a look at the activity and the audience sections. But to do that, I'm going to access a different account that has a little bit more data. Okay, so here we are on the activity section of a different account. And you'll notice that the first area within the activity section is discovery. This tells us how many accounts we've reached, and we can see how many we've reached by each particular day of the week. So I just tapped on one of the days there, and you'll notice that the actual number appears now above the bar graph. So this is a great way to gauge maybe you have certain days that are more successful than others. If you're posting one post every day, but you're reaching a lot more accounts on, say, Monday, well, then maybe it's a good idea to start posting twice on Monday. And maybe you can take a look and you can see on this chart, our lowest day is Thursday. Maybe we don't post on Thursday. If you look a little bit further down on the screen, it tells us our reach and our impressions compared to the previous week. Now, I do want to specify the difference between reach and impressions. Reach is the number of accounts that have seen your posts. Impressions are the number of actual views. So if you were to divide 71 by 12, you would come up with a ratio that shows the average amount of impressions each account is giving your Instagram profile. Now, if we scroll down a little bit in this section, we also have the interactions area. And this shows us how many interactions have been taken on our account. That includes likes of our photos and comments on our photos. And then we can also see how many people have actually clicked to see our profile. So if we get an impression on a photo, they might be viewing that through a hashtag, or we might have tagged a location. That is not a profile visit. They actually have to tap on our profile and view our main profile for that to be counted as a profile visit. Now let's take a look at the audience section. So in the audience section, we can see information about our followers. So first of all, we can see our growth. So we can see how many new followers we have, how many followers we've lost. And there's a little line chart there so that you can kind of see maybe you made a post on Tuesday that went viral and you realize, wow, I got a lot of followers on that day. So you can try and recreate similar posts in the future to gain more followers. If you scroll down, there's some demographic information about your followers. So you can see which cities they're from. You can see which age range they're from. And then you can tap to see the age range of men that are viewing your profile versus women. And then we can go back to all. And then down below, we have also the gender of people viewing our profile. So that can be some really important information. If you don't already have a target market, if you don't already know what type of people are following you, this is a great way to find out so you can tailor content for them in the future. And I'll also mention that sometimes you'll be surprised, right? You might have a certain target market that are the type of people that are purchasing your products regularly that you found through other statistical analysis are your primary customers. But then you come here to Instagram and you say, wow, that's really different from the people that are purchasing my products. Why can't I try and market towards this other group of people a little bit more since they seem to be interested in my Instagram profile? And then, of course, down at the bottom, we can see a chart that shows us when our followers are most likely to be on Instagram. This is pretty massive. Right now, we're looking at hours on Thursdays, right? So right now, I'm thinking, wow, I should be posting around 6 a.m., 9 a.m., but it doesn't really make any sense for me to post around 12 a.m. Nobody's on to see it. Alternatively, I could tap on the Days tab, and it would show me which days they're most active. And if we go back to the Hours tab, notice that you can change the day of the week. So you can see on Fridays, they're more active towards the middle of the day, Saturdays earlier on, Sundays, kind of the same. So this is really, really valuable information. And the more followers you get on Instagram and the more photos that you post, the more data that you're going to get and the more accurate that data is going to be. So it's really important as you use Instagram to come here into the Insights section and really dig deep for that useful information that can help improve your content and the timing of your content in the future. In this video, I'm going to talk about Instagram bot accounts. Now, quite frankly, this is a video that I wish I didn't have to do, but Instagram bot accounts do exist, and I want to tell you a little bit about them and maybe give you some tips on how you can decipher which accounts are real and which accounts are not. So, Instagram bot accounts are accounts that automatically interact with your account. Now, this might be liking your photos, this might be following you, and oftentimes it's actually commenting on your photos. Now, the reason people use these bots is they'll sign up for a program, and I'm calling them bot accounts and not fake accounts because the accounts aren't fake. The accounts are real, and oftentimes there's real people behind the account using it alongside the bots. But people will sign up for a service that will make it so that their account automatically likes photos, automatically comments on photos, and automatically follows people in hope that they'll get interactions back. Now, as a digital marketer and an SEO expert, I really dislike these black hat techniques. And if you're thinking about using one, I really recommend that you don't because your Instagram account could get banned. And in the future, Instagram is going to make updates that tries to combat these bots. They already have done that. Now, I think it's important to note that if you get followed by a bot, they will unfollow in the near future. And you're not going to know when somebody follows you if they're a bot or not. Really, the only way to decipher is when they're commenting. But the reason that I think this is important to know is because when you first start uploading to Instagram, you might get 5 followers, then 10, then 15, and you say, okay, I'm done with week 1. I have 50 followers. And then you sign in the next day and you've got 36. And you're like, oh my God, what did I do? 14 people already unfollowed me. No, you didn't do anything. Those 14 people were bot accounts. They'll follow you, hoping that you'll follow them back, and then they'll unfollow you in the future. So when you do see that happen, when you see that you're getting unfollowed, don't take it personally. They're bot accounts. And, on that note, they can be difficult to decipher. So I actually have an example that I'm pretty sure is a bot. I can't say for 100% certainty, but I'll show you why I think it's a bot. Okay, so here I am in my personal Instagram account, and I'm going to scroll down because when I first started posting, I really thought that there were a lot of bots that were interacting with my content, and I found one that I believe is a comment that's still a bot. So I have this photo here, and if we go down to the comments section, you'll notice that there's this comment from Mobile Minute, and it says, "Hey, AntsandAlex.com, neat post." Okay, well, thanks, right? That's good feedback, I guess. Now, there are a few big red flags about this comment. First of all, they typed out my profile, AntsandAlex.com, and when I created this profile, I had to use a 0 instead of an O because the other one was already taken. And so it just seems weird to me that they would specifically make sure to type out the 0, and they didn't even use the @ symbol. So they didn't @ mention me, but they took the time to type out my exact profile name. Seems a little fishy. Second of all, this is a very general comment. In fact, this comment could be applied to every single post that has ever been put on Instagram since the beginning of time, right? Neat post. They didn't say anything specific about my post. Now, the second one down here where it says nice, that's so short that I believe that's a real one. Okay. And you can see I liked the one that said nice and I did not like the first one. So, in my opinion, this is an example of a bot interaction, and you're just going to have to deal with them on Instagram. There isn't a solution to kind of get rid of them or avoid them, but I just want to create awareness so that you do know they exist. When people unfollow you, don't get too discouraged. And when you see these general comments come in, sometimes you have to look at them with a little bit of weariness. So I hope that this will just help you kind of decipher things as you move forward in Instagram and that you don't get too discouraged in dealing with these bot accounts. Thanks for watching Marketing on Instagram. I hope that you now feel more comfortable in using Instagram to promote your products and services and grow your organization's digital presence. I'd like to leave you with a few additional resources so that you know where you can go if you have questions about using Instagram after watching this course. First of all, it's a good idea to check up on the Instagram business blog at business.instagram.com/blog. It offers a lot of tips and strategies for getting the most out of Instagram as a business or organization, and it's updated on a regular basis. You can also follow Instagram for Business on Instagram. They post a number of photos and creative ways that you can use Instagram. Remember to check out my course on Instagram advertising that's also available on this site. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on ansonalex.com or at ansonalex.c0m on Instagram. Again, thanks for watching, and remember to be creative and have fun using Instagram.